2個目はどうする大貫。
Ah, Naruto. One of the biggest names around the early part of the millennium, if not the biggest name in the international anime community. Everyone tuned into the show for the exciting fights, the emotional storylines, the drama and comedy, and the amazing display of creativity as shown in the characters' powers. And yes, the shipping wars and the power level debate. Amongst the Shonen Jump Big Three, it seems that Naruto got the full brunt of both, owing to its overwhelming popularity, at least compared to Bleach and One Piece in the West. It also maintained its momentum and finished not too long ago to much fanfare. So for this ViniiTube Kai video, I'm quite in the mood for some nostalgia. Therefore, I'll slowly talk about my memories of the show, specifically in terms of showcases of power. Because what better topic to talk about than those eye-popping moments that spawned billions of power level debates all over the internet. Yes, such is the magic of Battle Shonen. And of course, we start with something from the orange jumpsuit era. A moment not featuring the titular ninja, by the way. I'm talking about Rock Lee versus Gaara. You all know what I'm talking about. Remember that awesome moment when the comedy character shocked the world and fought his heart out against freaking Gaara? Coming into the match, I'm positive everyone knew Gaara was going to win, but boy did Mr. Sandman here have to earn the win the hard way. Even when he seemed to have counters for Lee's attacks, the latter just kept coming at him, powering up more and more in the process. After a grueling 3 episodes, Rock Lee finally goes all in, connecting with a move that should have been a match ender. But of course, Gaara survives Reverse Lotus thanks to good old villain plot armor. This is one of the longer fights in the arc that gave us a lot more back and forth than people would expect at first. So while it's not exactly the dominant win that you would expect for a showcase of power video, let's not kid ourselves, Rock Lee earned himself a lot of fans that day and gave us proof of the saying to never judge someone by their appearance. Over a decade later, his master would do the same, funnily enough. If Rock Lee had his coming out party against Gaara, Might Guy had his against freaking Madara of all people. After the student comes the master, and having seen Madara casually own everyone for a year in real time, it feels hard to think that Guy has a chance. Obviously we can talk about Madara's moments in a while, but I'd like to point out how significant this moment was. I'm sure I'm not the only one who got shivers running down my spine when the flashback hit as Guy finally unleashes the 8th gate. Then we get greeted by an entire episode of flashback, which is fine, but the episodes after that is where it's at. My Guy demonstrates the true power of Evening Elephant and very nearly kills Madara. Yet, it nearly cost Guy his life, but to deal with such a devastating blow to Madara is nothing short of amazing. I said that Rock Lee earned the adulation of Naruto fans for outstanding performance against Gaara. How about Might Guy earning respect from Madara himself? This is a guy who flexed over the Ninja Alliance and the Kages, easily wiping them out like trash. Empowered Madara found himself fighting for his life against a single Might Guy. Now that's a showcase of power. As to why Guy's moment was so important, well, when that fight happened, Madara had been around for about 50 episodes, and he spent those times doing stuff like this. From the moment he entered the war, Madara did nothing but make an impact. Case in point, one of his first appearances has him taking on the Shinobi Alliance. You know, I talked about this moment a lot in my main channel. It always appears somewhere in those one-man army or dominant villain lists, and you can clearly see how much of an impact this has had on me. He's just so far and above everyone that he can solo these people who are supposed to be ready for war. No sweat, easy. Then the Kages come, and you thought Madara would be in for a challenge this time. Even the Kages found themselves getting swept under the rug, with Madara bursting out some quotable words. Arrogant ones, yes, but we can't help but be amazed at it, right? A true badass boaster just shows how far above he was compared to even the Kages combined. So now we see why I felt Guy's moment was so important. It's not just that he pulled out such a cool all-or-nothing move, but also the fact that he nearly killed Madara with it. The same Madara who spent a year in real life making quick work of everyone in his way. Madara's truly the peak of the villain power creep in Naruto. Being an avid watcher of shonen anime, I knew something crazy like him would be coming in the endgame. But move the clock back to around half a decade before Madara's rampage, and you'll be hard-pressed to imagine something more insane than pain-destroying Konoha.
This world shall know pain.
Talk about a moment to remember. When Pain launched the attack on Konoha, I already knew what was going to happen. And not because I read the source material. I knew very well that he'll get a lot of his goals done before the hero would save the day at the last moment. Got to up the drama so Naruto will get his much needed redemption after everything he's gone through since the first season. Still, I didn't expect Pain to get this far. Yeah, he's got those landmark wins against people like Kakashi, but to reach the point of literally destroying Konoha in such a grandiose way, now that's a scene for everyone to remember.
痛みを知れ。
Then Naruto comes in with his heroic entrance, and he gives us a showcase of power himself. After the grand entrance, we got a moment to remember as he handily takes care of the multiple pains without even breaking a sweat. He sure wasted no time putting the fruits of trading to hard work, and all the momentum was on his side for a good while there. Unfortunately, even his newfound power-up wasn't enough to defeat Pain. Lots of things happened, including one of Hinata's shining moments, and we ended with a climactic clash between the two. It's a pleasure to bear witness to this battle. Two people who flex their powers clashing in full force. Given the conclusion of the arc and considering the timing of it coming after the emotional Itachi and Jiraiya moments, I think that there are a few arcs that can top this in Shippuden. The other arc I like is the several arcs preceding it, the Akatsuki suppression arc. While its emotional weight may not be as heavy as the one featuring Itachi and Jiraiya's last stand, it did give us the heart-wrenching loss of Asuma. And with it came this next moment, Shikamaru getting his signature win against Hidan. Just like the Lee moment a while ago, this is probably not what you'd immediately think of when it comes to showcases of power. After all, it's not Shikamaru overwhelming an opponent or flexing sheer power. Regardless, having someone like Shikamaru beating an opponent that's immortal is still an event to remember. Shikamaru's always been one of my favorite characters, and I always felt that his reliance on strategy makes him stick out in the world of Chosen Ones, plot armor powers, and broken eye magic. And while he had his wins before, it's here that we truly saw how powerful the right strategy and intelligence is in the face of an opponent that one has no hope of beating physically. Following the death of his mentor, Shikamaru really did come back with a vengeance, and he had to do it in style, defeating Hidan by sealing him for eternity. Enjoy your immortality, Hidan. The arc after that is cool too. It's Sasuke's time to shine as he goes out to assemble his dream team to take down Itachi. And it starts out with a bang. Sasuke has a lot of big boy moments scattered throughout the show, but you know what? One scene that's often a footnote to people that I really like is when Sasuke defeats Orochimaru.
Sasuke-kun, その体を私にちょうだい。
Ever since his defection, Sasuke seems to be getting set up for something sinister. Orochimaru spends the whole time by his side, using him, and after some arcs, our snake villain finally decides that the time is right. He'll get himself an awesome new body to use, and it's time to terrorize the ninja world once more. The problem? All his manipulations have gone horribly wrong, and Sasuke decides to get the first move against him. Wounded and desperate, Orochimaru decides to start the body switch process only to have the switch completely flipped against him. Instead, It was him, utterly outsmarted and outgunned, who got absorbed into Sasuke's body. It's one of those villain plans gone horribly right, and Sasuke hijacking the plan is as awesome as they come. Here's the subordinate you trained up, Orochimaru. This is the monster you created. Poor Orochimaru can't catch a break, can he? It's funny because in the same episode, we see that years ago, he also tried to pull the same trick against Itachi, only this time, he lost without his opponent even moving. Oh, and he got to hear a badass flex speech from Itachi too. At least Sasuke had to exert some effort to defeat him. It's just funny that for most of the orange jumpsuit era, Orochimaru is billed as this super serious threat, but come Shippuden, we start seeing him as a mid-tier villain compared to the more overpowered guys on the antagonist side, you know, like Toby. But even Toby's not immune to being on the losing side in one of these showcases of power. The nemesis who styled all over him, none other than the yellow flash himself, Minato. If you need any proof that Minato is one of the strongest characters of them all, just look at how he styles and outmatched Toby himself. Toby, you know, the guy who turned out to be one of the endgame villains, the same guy who made Conan look like a random jobber despite all the hope spots the plot gave her, the one who eventually became the host of the Ten Tails. Yeah, that Toby. Give Toby credit though. It's not that he's weak. The fact that a teenage Obito had the guts and ability to attack the most powerful village is a testament to both Madara's training and his own ability. And he came prepared with the broken Gamui ability. Too bad he ran into Minato, who despite early struggles, handily connects with a Rasengan and branded him with a seal to nullify that annoying teleport ability. More importantly, Toby lost control over the Nine Tails, thus setting the foundations for this legendary story to begin. To drive home how big of a feat Minato did though, we must take a look at Toby before the mask. You see, before he turned evil, he was once young, idealistic Obito Uchiha. The same Obito Uchiha who lost it when he saw the love of his life die. It's not the most original storyline out there, but it's still something that I personally like. After all, I'm a sucker for those fallen hero stories, and he wasted no time showing off his power here, slaughtering everyone in sight. Yeah, he got the power-ups and training after being saved from death, but is still a young teen committing the deed with such an overwhelming display. This is the debut of Gamui, and boy, was it a spectacle in its first run. No wonder it's so effective the next few times Obito used it. He's not a nobody or a random grunt, but we can say that Obito went from nobody to nightmare in such a short span, and this is the first proof of that. So that about wraps up my nostalgic run through some of my favourite showcases of power in Naruto. Being a battle shonen with a long history, there sure are plenty of moments you could think of which showcase a character's power, especially in relation to those around him. Why don't you join the nostalgic drive and tell me some of your favourite moments from this beloved shonen anime? Any favourite moments on your end? I'd love to hear about them. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also make sure to visit and subscribe to my main channel too, ViniiTube, for countdown lists. While this channel delves more on specific anime and has videos in essay formats, the main channel features more titles, so who knows, you might pick up a couple of recommendations there. That's it for now. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.